Hey, welcome everybody. We're getting ready to start session 13 of our Rogue Trader campaign. Last session was a bit of a doozy, as Venari promised. They took the mission for Jarnan to go and convert, air quotes, a former Imperial planet that had just been rediscovered, just had renewed contact with the Greater Imperium after the warp storm went away. So we went over to check it out. The old grain that they had stored, it was a tithe world. The older grain had some sort of warp taint to it, as they were doing, kind of going through and checking everything out. Venari did his best to seal the deal and sow some oats. And he was able to pull that together finally after 13 sessions. So he was pretty much out of the episode. The rest of the guys did some investigation. They went to the temple. They looked at the fields. Kynnoch was able to do a senescence check and notice that the fields themselves had a minor kind of warp taint around them. When they were at the temple, Jarnan was following around one of the acolytes. I think Colber was his name, or Colber. Colber.
What are we looking for? What do you want?
Colber. Yeah.
Colber.
Yeah.
And Jarnan kind of got, thought he was maybe being, feeling a little squirrely, like he was kind of dancing around some issues. So he made him pray at the altar. And Colber, was able to recite all of the classic liturgies. There was no flubs, nothing weird there. Colber also took a flying piece of metal to the neck that Jarnan took because he was going to have Kynnoch check that for some warp taint. Emmaus was questioning the Harvest Mother on whether or not they had a harvest festival coming up. Just general information about things. She kind of was a little squirrely on her own. I got like 4 pages, just crazy.
I mean, you could always you can condense.
I'm trying. Emmaus asked about the Harvest Festival. We went over that. They didn't have anything planned, but said that they could. She was chosen as a Harvest Mother when Roderick died. He died shortly after she kind of came on board, and his last act was to choose her as a replacement. She got salty with Emmaus a little bit. She's quite dismissive of everyone. The Honingberg brothers are the nobility on the planet. They kind of control things, sort of off in the background, aloof. Jarnan and what the fuck is this guy's name? Adclar? Does that sound right?
Hold on, I gotta bring.
No, Adalar. I can't read my own handwriting.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm as you're going, I'm having to look them up.
Yeah.
In my notes. Yeah, Adalar is Colber.
Oh, okay. I guess that's about it. When Kynnoch comes in, he uses senescence on the Harvest Mother and is able to tell that she has some warp corruption on her. And then in front of everyone who's assembled, just says to Jarnan, "Oh yeah, she's tainted." She gets really salty. Jarnan says that she should kiss his ring to prove that, she doesn't have the taint on her. And then as she goes in to kiss the ring, he turns on, it's actually a digiflamer ring, but instead of singeing her entire face off, he kind of tilts it a little bit so that it blows past her. And that's when the shit kind of hits the fan, and that's where we left it. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, did it end, I guess, right after it went off? Oh, yeah. I believe she backed away.
She
yelled and screamed guards.
Yeah, they started to rush in as the fucking iris down.
Yeah, I'm trying to look real quick because I did not look up groups / minions versus, because there's no wounds for some of these enemies, which is weird to me. Maybe those are supposed to be you shoot them, they're dead. Does anyone know that? I should probably look these up. Because I do not
know if there's like minion style rules. I don't remember. I don't think we've ever used it.
Never mind. It's they're a sub class, so you have to use the base class. That's why. Okay, so I see that. Got it. Yeah, I'm gonna try to deal with this sort of as groups, essentially. Just to keep it simple, as playing. Sorry, I was not populating this sheet, but she recoils definitely, and backs off, screams guards. You see the large doors at the entrance of the room fly open, and there are two, slightly higher, you assume, like slightly more decorative robes that look kind of heavy. You're not sure entirely. They could have armor under that.
It's like an Emperor's Royal Guard kind of thing. Like you really don't know what's happening.
Yes, it's kind of like they're in robes that are big enough to certainly be able to hide a weapon, for sure. And they are also holding, let's say one of them has drawn what looks to be a pump action shotgun, and the other one has an auto gun. I'm gonna say, because they're the guards closest to her, so they're not gonna have garbage entirely.
You guys could take those hits.
Yeah, definitely.
You can be fine with that. I'm gonna just make a note of which one has which. I'm gonna need everyone to roll initiative.
So here's the question. I think I'm immobile, so I can't roll initiative, can I?
Oh, you failed. Did you get a fear check?
Yeah, and I failed it.
From me.
And if you're immobile, let me see if you even get to do it. Immobilized might actually just be like...
I just don't think you can move, right?
That's what I'm wondering.
Does it say under your power, Jesse, if that means anything in particular? Because when you pulled your cloak off your head, right?
He gets the fear condition. That's it. That's all it tells me.
Let me check what that is. And I didn't burn a fate point because I thought it would be better. I thought it'd be more fun to play it out that I was immobile at the beginning.
Yeah, my thing is taking a real long time to search for the conditions of immobilized.
You said fear?
Super fun. It's under fear, but like the fear check, the fear condition means you roll on a table and then it tells you like something happens and you freak out. Like one time, like most people I've run into everyone in my group ends up freaking like, literally you have to run as far away as you can from the thing until you pass a willpower check or the thing is like no longer within your space.
So
think of every time that Kane pissed his pants.
Yeah, right. Well, so it says the character fails a fear test in a combat situation. He must immediately roll on table 10-4, the shock table, adding +10 to the result for each degree of failure. So you could potentially still act a 0 to 9.
No, he definitely failed. It's just I'm trying to find the conditions.
Did we give it the condition of immobile, or is it?
Yeah, it would have said you were immobilized.
Okay. And I do remember that I was immobile. So what I have to do then is I just have to make a willpower check when it's my turn then.
Yeah, I think that's...
So is it character frozen by terror? That sounds like what you had. The character may make no actions until he snaps out of it. After snapping out of it, the character will make all tests with a -10 penalty for the rest of the encounter.
Yeah, it was
1d5 insanity.
Yeah, that one. So, yeah, sorry, I guess it's not an official condition. You're just frozen in fear until you pass. So you will come into initiative. Well, actually,
at the end.
no, you would want to have initiative so you know when you're rolling, because that may make a difference.
Okay.
So it's a D10 plus agility.
But it doesn't say what it takes to snap out of it, unless he just gets another.
He's rolling He's rolling willpower. Yeah.
Against willpower check. Yeah.
Okay. Which is like what, 20? We all have terrible willpower.
Now mine's 43. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
nice.
Pretty good.
Hey, mine's 65. So
yeah.
Mine's 50. So I think our rogue trader just sucks.
our rogue trader
has no willpower.
I don't. Why would I need it?
Considering he drinks all the time and now he's just laying around getting laid while we're actually doing shit. He's low willpower.
I'm all about it.
They are. I think their agility sucks, so that's probably good for you guys. Something tells me you're gonna get a few good licks in before they do shit. But that's not uncommon.
Well, there could always be other guys standing out in the hall, right?
Of course.
Shut up.
They're gonna go then. She did quite better.
I'm gonna have to edit all of this out.
Really?
There's definitely people.
No, he's not. No, he's
There's
not.
definitely people standing out in the hallway, but the hallway is made of wood, so I'm not too worried.
There you go.
Okay. Does anyone beat a 9?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Then you were going to be going first in that case.
okay.
Because
Ew.
whoever beats a 9 is going now. So there are currently within relatively close range. Obviously, she couldn't back off that far. So, like, you're not like in melee, but definitely in like within 3 meters of the Harvest Mother. And then probably, I don't know, 10 meters away to the door where the 2 guards kind of opened the door with a shotgun and an auto gun. So you can tell so far. And she draws stubber, an auto stubber.
Wow, she's packing.
For the moment, yeah.
Okay, so what did Jarnan and Kynnoch get for initiative?
Jarnan's got a 15.
4.
Okay, so Jarnan goes first. I got 12.
Oh, nice. All right, so I am going to, as soon as I see the guards, I'm going to draw my flamer, and I'm going to point it at the Harvest Mother, but I'm going to speak to the guards, and I'm going to say, I'm a missionary of the God Emperor, and she is tainted by the warp. Arrest her and dethrone her, or suffer the same consequences as her burned husk.
They're kind of confused, and they're like, Harvest Mother! What is he saying? And she says, he is a heretic here to destroy all that we've built, all that we've worked for. Stop them! They're going to kill us all! They're like, put down the flamer, now!
Jarnan just kind of sighs. Jarnan just kind of sighs and is like, just remember, when you stand before the God Emperor, you chose this. I didn't.
Oh, damn.
All right.
Now, with all that being done, would I still get an attack or no?
Yeah. I didn't have you do a check or anything to like, if you would have responded with like a, stand down type check. I mean, you were basically like, hey, this person's evil. stop her, and they're like, "Hey, don't,
No.
I don't believe you," per se, and then
Yeah, no second chances. I'm that kind of guy.
Okay.
All right, so give me an agility check.
Okay.
Taking a -20 for both of them.
Wait, for them?
Sorry, I'm gonna spray the 2 guards.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna spray the 2 guards.
What's the -20 for them?
I have
Crazy thing.
Yeah, I have cleanse and purify. Anybody that I attack with the flamer takes a -20 to their agility check.
Wow.
The Emperor loves fire.
Oh, there's almost no chance they're gonna make this.
Brilliant. Oh,
Yeah, that's why I was really hoping to hit missionary rank 2, because that thing is awesome.
All right. Yeah, they do not dodge that.
Yay.
Do you have like a name like etched in Latin or Low Gothic or whatever, High Gothic on the side of it?
Not yet. I haven't named my flamer. My sword has a name, but my flamer doesn't.
Technically, there is an etching on your flamer.
That's true. I did mark Venari.
You have the initials KL on the side of it.
That's true.
That is true. I'm gonna have to carve that thing out at some point.
There's a scene of Jarnan just sitting in his room, just fucking scrubbing trying to polish it out.
Alrighty, so they each take 10 energy damage, pen 2.
Okay.
And they are both on fire. And on their turn, they have to make an agility check to not be on fire anymore. Actually, no, sorry. They need to make a second agility check right now to see if they catch on fire. I apologize.
Is that at a -20 or is that straight?
Going by the description of the thing, that would just be a straight agility.
Okay. So said 10 pen 2.
Correct.
And I think flamers hit body all the time. Is that right?
It honestly doesn't say. Because there's no attack roll, so it's just like...
Yeah, I'm going to do
sure
body.
body.
I don't think you do all. All right, so that's going to be...
I mean, it's a 30-degree, 20-meter-long cone. It's kind of hard to pick a point on a body.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this fucking agility test.
I mean, you probably could, as a secondary roll, make a location roll if you wanted to.
We're gonna do body because it's mostly just straight on. They're both on fire.
Okay.
On great agility. On fire. On fire. Okay.
Okay.
And that would be your turn, although I guess technically you get a move action if you want.
No, I'm good right next to the Harvest Mother.
Okay. Who else beat a 9?
Me, so I have to make a willpower roll. 33 under 43.
Okay, so you succeed. I think you would still lose the turn. You're just shaken out of it.
Okay. So then
you'll go in your initiative order next time.
Okay, that's fine. So Emmaus all of a sudden blinks back in and just scans around the room and screams at Kynnoch, "Are you sure about this? Are you sure what you said?" Or was it Jarnan? Sorry, Jarnan. So Jarnan, are you sure about this?
Jarnan's just going to look at Kynnoch and go, "You're sure about this, right?"
He just nods.
Yes, I am sure about this.
Okay, so then I'm assuming I can't make any action, so I can't make a call out on the microbreed and anything, right? So I will, I'll ready myself for my next action.
All right. Anyone else beat a 9?
No, I think Kynnoch's 4.
Nope, I'm a 4.
And I'm going. So the Harvest Mother is like, "How dare you come into my temple and perform such sacrilege?" And she's gonna just basically straight up burst auto stub at the missionary for burning her guards. So far, not to death. Although
I haven't taken my turn yet.
Actually, let me. Okay, I want to try this instead because why not? Let me see what her power is. I mean, she's got some warp stuff going on, so she has a few powers that she wants to use on you. She's going to look at, just because she's going to do it after Jarnan, although it may not be good if this happens. She's going to look at Jarnan and try to penetrate his mind and compel him to her will.
No.
Okay.
And I gotta see what her psi rating is, because that's important. Sorry, John. These things tend to end up taking a bit of time when you're looking at crazy fucking stat blocks. Holy shit. Okay. Maybe I should not have given you her. No, I should. I just want to double check if it does anything past range. I should have like an editing music so you can tell which one it is. Nah, it's just an opposed willpower test. So she will roll a willpower, and you will roll a willpower.
Question: is this considered a psi technique that she is using?
It is.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
This thing is rolling like garbage. I need to roll real dice.
Right thing. All right. So you said it's willpower against willpower.
Yep.
All right. So I have plus 30 to my willpower when it's a mind control and psi technique.
Okay, that's exactly what it is.
So are we doing, so should I subtract that from my number or add that to my number?
You add it, you either add it to your willpower or subtract it from your roll. Make it better by 30, right? So I would say add it to your willpower.
Okay. So I got 49 out of 80.
Okay.
Nice.
You feel that she's trying to, affect your mind, but you are easily able to shrug it off.
All right.
You succeeded by quite a bit more degrees than she did. She rolled like garbage.
Okay.
So it happens.
When I feel that, can I scream out she just tried to mind control me? Kill her.
Sure, you can.
Okay. Yeah, that happens.
Okay. Who's next?
I think I'm the only one left, right?
The guards are still alive, so they're just they're at oh sorry. They might actually be. You said you had a 4?
Yeah.
And they go on 5. So the guards, what happens when they're on fire? they're probably dead.
All right, so they take 1d10 energy damage and gain 1 level of fatigue. They they need to make a willpower check to not run around screaming. And if they make that willpower check, they can try to drop prone and put themselves out if they so choose.
Okay. Okay. Which one do I do first? The damage, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
So let's do damage first, because they may just be dead. And you said it was 1d10, so you can roll that. Is this disregard armor or anything, or is it they do get armor and toughness?
I
assume they get armor and toughness?
Let's see. Am I muted? No. Okay. 1d10 damage with no reduction from armor, and takes 1 level of fatigue each round until the fire is extinguished.
Okay, so actually I did not add their toughness to the previous, so let me add that back in, just in case they don't die. Okay, so no armor, just toughness bonus. Okay?
Yep.
Go ahead.
8 energy damage.
All right. 8 energy damage. Okay. They are screaming and on fire, and they certainly don't look like they're gonna live long, but they're still running around screaming some. And you said they make a willpower test to see if they can drop prone.
So they make a willpower check, a +0 willpower check, to see if they can act normally or just literally run around and scream, which counts as a full action.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to fucking go get dice. They run around and scream like maniacs. They're just screaming as they're as close to being dead from this as possible, so they are panicking like all fuck. Now it would be Kynnoch's turn.
I get to kill some motherfuckers. All right. So first off, this is gonna seem. Actually, no, they're already running around and shit. I'm not even gonna bother with them because they've seen my face. So technically, they should roll against fear. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna die right now.
Yeah,
and they're already running, screaming their heads off from being set on fire. So, all right. So Kynnoch will kind of get this little grin on his face, a smirk, and you'll see his third eye actually begin to start to swirl, almost like it almost looks like a mini galaxy in his eye as everything just becomes to swirl and undulate in there. And suddenly it flickers and bursts open, and there's this invisible wave of energy that just shoots out. So everybody who can see me must make an opposed will check.
Do you have a safe word? I mean, do you yell out to the crew it's coming, baby?
I might want to think about that in the future.
Okay,
I'm actually gonna fate point because I rolled horribly.
Okay.
And okay, there we go. Oh, all right, a little bit better. All right, current.
Oh, it's opposed. Sorry, I was like,
it is opposed. Yes.
I just want to double check if she definitely sees you, so. She would have to make it. I was just looking to see if she has anything to help against. That counts as a psi technique, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I guess. Does it?
It's a
Well, yeah.
psyker,
I mean,
right? It's a psyker power, so I think it counts as a psychic ability.
a navigator's technically psionic based.
Yeah, I just wanted to God damn it! I need to memorize this shit, but I never do.
How can you? It's like 1,000 pages.
Yeah, I know. I was like, she has like all these talents that I just should have looked up, but didn't. That definitely isn't helping her. That definitely isn't helping her. It would have been good for me to have known that if she saw your face and needed to make a fear check. She's fearless. She actually can't be feared.
She passed the last time, so that's why I didn't bother with her.
But she can definitely get hurt by this.
Oh yeah.
She's going to be the first one. The other two guys, I guess. Oh, they have to see your eye? Because your back is to them.
Anybody looking... well, it says anybody looking into my warp eye.
Okay. They would probably be too distracted, but everyone else, I think, in the room could potentially be. I would say everyone should at least make the willpower test and see. She failed her test.
Yay!
Would they be would Jarnan and Emmaus be looking at him though? Like,
give me everyone give me an awareness test.
I'm not trying to co-GM. I just wonder, like, they're engaged with shit that they would have like turned around and been like, "Oh, hey, oh, fuck, what was that?"
That's why they're gonna roll an awareness test.
Fail. 49 out of 40.
Okay.
Fail 71 out of 40.
All right. Well, you're lucky you didn't happen to notice that something weird was happening with your navigator. You kind of wanted to fail that one. You didn't notice it. And then all of a sudden, you feel like this sort of shock wave of energy pulse, like a weird, like, your ears kind of like reverberate, and you have no fucking idea what it was. It just, I mean, you assume it's some kind of fucking power that happened, but
I blame it on the Harvest Mother.
Don't turn around.
All right. So whoever fails the willpower, I got 2 degrees of success. I got a 40 out of 65.
Okay.
They take 1d10 plus my willpower bonus. I rolled a 10, so that is 16 energy damage, and it is not reduced by armor or toughness.
And you rolled a 10, so that should be Righteous Fury, right? Or is that?
Is
it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's another 4, so that is 20.
Whoa.
And they're also stunned for 1 round as they are ripped with agony.
You see her, like, she like is physically like knocked back, like, and you just hear her like shriek, like, just, I mean, literally like someone, well, I guess you're used to it, getting burned alive, or a slow death, like just an absolute agonizing, horrifying, I know I'm dying death.
As her brain melts inside her head.
Yeah, she kind of like starts like she kind of like throws up blood a little, and falls over and is like clearly dead.
Clearly, most sincerely dead.
Then that you definitely hear like some like moving, shuffling, yelling. The Harvest Mother's in trouble. Everyone to the throne room. So there's definitely a more folks in coming your way, as far as you know. But no one is currently, well, the two guys on fire. They're going to take damage, though. Well, no, I'm going to have you roll to take damage for them, right? Because they take damage, and then they do willpower to see if they can act or whatever. So give me the 1d10 damage.
Only 4 this time.
Well, they don't have enough tough. They only had 1 hit point left, and that destroys. They only had 3 toughness, so they scream and just kind of like it wasn't like they just fall over me. They're just kind of like very slowly are like falling over and just coughing and sucking fire into their lungs and fumes, and very, very, very slowly burned to death on the floor.
And so another couple go to the God Emperor.
What are you gonna do? You might have a few seconds / turns / whatever to do something before other folks show up.
So is this considered? So is my -10 done now, or is this going to be rolled into one extended action? Just out of curiosity, I didn't know.
She's dead, so you're snapped out of it.
Okay. And then so we're out of combat then.
Yeah. Well, ish.
Yeah.
Ish, and like you're not.
Yeah, but for that specific.
Yeah, the threat is gone.
Okay.
So that is fine for you, but I'm gonna still be. I'm still gonna go in initiative, but you only have you have okay, we'll say you're out of combat, but you have like 30 seconds to a minute before probably other people start running in here.
Okay.
I don't want to screw over. Yeah. I don't want to screw over Emmaus, but technically Kynnoch was the threat of his fear.
Well, that's fine.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so that's fine.
I guess you got to roll again.
That's fine.
Although, what is it? A minute? If you have a minute, that's basically taking 10 from D&D, right? Like, yeah.
Okay, so we're in the room, everyone's down, so I'm sure we're all just looking at each other. So I'm just going to scream, to Kynnoch, because I think he's the closest. Kynnoch, probably a good idea to shut the door if we can.
Did we lose Kynnoch?
No, I'm right here.
Yeah, no, you got it. So I'm going to scream that to Kynnoch, because I think you're closest to the door. I'm going to scream, Kynnoch, we may want to try to close the door if you can close it.
And yeah, he'll take a couple of steps back and kind of close because I'm assuming he was kind of like right there when I burst into the room and everything. So from before.
Yeah. So Neil, was there, since this is to the kind of her private throne room or whatever, is there a way we can close it or bar it from this side?
Yeah, there'd be there's definitely like a physical like close it, and then it has like the big shutter it, and then there's locks as well that turn. It's not like there's a key on this side. They're larger locks than that. Since it's a fairly large, it's like a pretty big temple, so it's pretty fortified doors. So yeah, you can pretty easily lock them. And at least for the moment, yeah.
So I'm going to look around to Kynnoch and Jarnan and say, okay, looks like one of us is going to have to call the captain. Who wants to do the honor?
I'll do it.
Aww.
He's used to me giving him bad news anyway. He's probably just sinning anyway, so it's not like I'm going to be ruining anything. Real quick, as I'm like kind of calling him on my microbead, I want to walk over to the Harvest Mother and see if like Kynnoch's blast did anything to her head, or if she's like still recognizable as the Harvest Mother.
Yeah. It didn't like blast her head off or anything. I mean, it's like she had like blood kind of vomiting out, and her nose and eyes are bleeding. But recognizable if you wiped it off.
Okay.
Kind of almost like sonic damage, where I just like rattled the insides of her until everything kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, Jarnan to Venari, you decent?
So camera like pans to different location. You know, you see like the bed. He comes up from like the feet. You know, he's like kind of stretched out. He's reaching over to like grab a glass of wine. He takes like a long sip. You know, Lavina's like kind of laying on his chest, and he hears Jarnan, and he's like, "Oh, fuck, really?" And he doesn't say anything. Like, he just waits to see what happens. Like, oh, maybe he'll figure it out. Like, he's just, you know, he kind of pulls her a little bit closer. He takes drink, puts the glass back on the table.
Jarnan to Venari, I don't care if you're decent. Answer.
Fuck. Lavina, I think I'm going to have to take this. I apologize. This should only take a minute. I'm sure he's found something or another. Like, just give me a second. And he'll, like, get up out of bed and kind of, like, walk over to the corner. Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of something here.
Yeah, we kind of were in the middle of something, and now we kind of are at the end of something. Are you still with that woman?
Oh, of course.
All right. Can she hear me?
It's like a
little Bluetooth thing. I'm imagining, right?
She wouldn't be able to hear you unless she's like right against your head and you have the volume all the way up. Yeah, she wouldn't hear it.
Okay. Yeah. No. This is fine.
All right. So Kynnoch discovered that the Harvest Mother was tainted by the warp, and she was evil, and she attacked us, and we killed her. Quick sum up. So you might want to speak to the woman that you're probably laying next to and give it to her a little less bluntly, but we're currently barricaded in the Harvest Mother's chambers, and the guards are coming here. So you're the captain. Figure it out.
Jesus Christ.
He like looks up at the ceiling for a minute and just kind of like squints, and he like shakes his head, and he's like, wait, so what happened now? I left you guys alone for like what? How much trouble could you get in?
1 hour too long.
Okay, just for clarification, I am not in any trouble. I am simply doing the God Emperor's will, and they were heretics, and she was tainted by the warp. So I burned her guards alive, and Kynnoch pretty much melted her brain. But she tried to mind control me, so I know for absolute certainty that Kynnoch was telling the truth when he said that she was tainted by the warp. So we have done nothing wrong.
But all right, but is there some way to prove that? I mean, I don't, and he kind of like looks over at the bed as the conversation's getting more animated. Like, I don't, fuck me. You know, like one night. I just wanted one night. He looks over at her again, and he like shakes his head, kind of like waves his hand, like, I can't do anything about this. I don't know what's, you know,
just for the record, I don't think we're going to be getting the full tithe.
I don't think we wanted it anyway, right? I mean, all right, look, I'll be there in a minute. I'll be there in a minute.
All right, try to figure out a decent way to get to the Harvest Mother's chambers, or else you're going to have to fight your way through all of her guards that are on the other side of the door and trying to get in at this point, but we have it locked and barricaded.
He just sighs. He's like, ugh.
Best case scenario, you could always fly the shuttle over to us, and I can burn a hole in the wall, and we can just hop out into the shuttle.
All right. I'll figure it out. Just give me a couple of minutes.
All right. This is what you get for sinning.
He just turns the microbead off.
Anyone that has like common law warfare or anyone who had like the ability, like the planetary navigation stuff, go ahead and give me a roll.
Neil, you have like so much static.
Really?
I don't know if your beard is like hitting your microphone or if it's like a bad connection.
I am so far from the microphone, it can't be that.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to grab a couple resources, so it could be that interfering, but I'll try and fix it.
You don't hear any static on your end?
No, I'm like super clear.
Okay, because I know I'm hearing it. I know Jesse's hearing it because I thought it was Jesse. We're editing.
Hold on. Let me just see if this fixes it real quick. Let me just one more thing that I need to download.
All right. I have Common Lore Imperium. Is that helping at all or no?
Not really.
Okay. No, that's fine.
I have Forbidden Lore Heresy that might help us decipher some of the stuff in this chamber.
Maybe. This is more
So I have oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I have Common Lore War, and then I also have, you were saying planetary. I don't pilot. Probably wouldn't work for that, right?
It depends on what you want to know. The question is going to be, one, how long is it going to take Venari to get there? Probably. And how long is it going to take them to bust that door down? So the war would let you know to bust the door down. The planetary driving would probably get you how long it would take Venari to get there.
So I think
assuming the plan is for him to just show up. It ain't like this is right in the city. This is kind of off a little bit into the fields.
Okay. So just from my character standpoint, I think Emmaus would probably go more with the flying thing and not bashing down the door thing. So I'll roll so I'll look at Jarnan and Kynnoch and just say, okay, Jarnan, if we're looking for the captain to come get us, it will take 36 minus the 10 is, I get that? That's agility, 36 out of 40. So, I'm just trying to estimate how long it would take for the captain to get here. So I did pass, but no degrees.
You're thinking, not minus 10?
If his effect went away, it was for the encounter. So once the encounter's over, then that minus 10 goes away.
So 1 degree of success then. Thanks, John.
You're pretty sure, assuming he knows where it is, which I'm sure there's some way to navigate that, or he could ask. It's going to take at least 20 minutes, probably a little more for him to get there. And that's if he's like booking it. Otherwise, it's like half an hour out of the city, or at least from anywhere inside the city. So, or at least, okay, let's say you know kind of where he was. We'll say 20 minutes, 30 minutes is probably a little far, but 20 minutes like through the city to get to the outskirts and to the temple, assuming there's no problems.
Okay, so I'll look at Kynnoch and Jarnan and say, all right, gentlemen, it looks like we have to hold out for probably about 20 minutes. It'll take the captain to get here, so we'll have to see if we can hold out for that long.
So
go ahead.
Sorry, real quick, layout of the room. Are we looking at just one door?
Yeah, well, okay, you're in like a big kind of like altar room. kind of prayer room. So there aren't pews. There's like the little kneeling thing, benches, stuff, altar at the front. And there is a door kind of back left that's like just a small, like single person door that you would assume goes to like some sort of rectory or maybe a quarters or something like that. But that is all.
Okay.
I'll just say that the crew for the shuttle is in the shuttle. Like, we left them there.
Yep.
Kind of to their own devices. So they're outside of where I am. Because they brought all the food and shit in for the...
I thought she took you somewhere, like, for dinner stuff. She doesn't live at the spaceport.
I thought her, like, rooms were kind of, like, in that area. No?
You kind of drew places to get there.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. I didn't remember.
Not like super far, but it's definitely not like you could run. I mean, if you're going to run there, it's going to take you 10 minutes to get to the shuttle and 5 minutes for the shuttle to get to the base.
I don't know. She seemed kind of kinky to me. Maybe they were having sex in the spaceport.
Maybe it's just the bathroom. We don't know.
No, we're definitely in her quarters.
Yeah, she does not live like the area around the spaceport's kind of industrial, so like she would live kind of more toward the civilian living side of things, at least for the moment.
Gotcha.
That's where you would be looking.
All right.
So go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I'm not doing it.
All right, fine.
Is my buzzing still occurring, by the way?
Yes.
Fuck.
It's like an occasional pause.
If it's you, I mean, Kevin was muted. I was muted. I thought it was Jesse, but it doesn't seem to be him. So,
is the mic on your headphones for some reason? Is it picking up? The little.
It shouldn't be because I'm not like. Nothing.
Yeah, that's not it. Yeah.
It's all mine's like on the monitor. Here, I'll mute you.
Yep.
John, say something.
When you muted.
Is it me? Am I doing static?
No. I mean, you have a little bit of hiss underneath when you're talking, but it's not that.
It's me if it went away when I muted, and I don't know how to fix it.
It did actually. You muted mid word, and it was staticky while you were talking, and the static went away as soon as you muted.
Let me see if I can drop the. Maybe I can drop the mic.
It almost sounds like a wire issue, like maybe a connection is loose, and when the wire's moving around, that's when it's making the sound.
It shouldn't, but let me try that. That's on the snowball. Does that help?
Yeah, I don't hear anything
so far. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Thanks, Blue. Sponsor this podcast by sending us all free Yetis. We're welcome. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we look like we're in an awesome situation right now. So Kynnoch will kind of place himself in between and a little bit behind Emmaus and Jarnan, and putting a hand on either of their shoulders. He'll just say, "Well, gentlemen, it appears as though we need to make a stand."
Are we sure that we haven't checked all around the other rooms to make sure there's no other entry in? So obviously I'm agreeing with you that we're going to make a stand, but don't you think we should maybe double check that there's no one going to flank behind us or anything?
That's a pretty good idea. And I'm going to kind of like shuffle my shoulder out from under his hand and kind of walk the perimeter around the room, make sure there's nothing, hidden behind, any secret entrances or anything like that.
Yeah, if there is the rectory or whatever other room, then I think we should probably check in there too. So I'll more gracefully remove myself from Kynoch's attention, and I'll go check the cutout, the little private room, just to see if there's any, false walls or extra doors or stale rails or anything in there.
As I'm walking towards like the back of the room, I'm gonna look over my shoulder. Kynnoch, watch the door, and if anybody walks in, watch them.
Yeah, Kynnoch will place himself like near the door just so I can hear what's going on the other side, and you can actually see as he's like very still doing this, his figure begins to kind of break up and blend into the background.
Okay. Which order do I want to go? First, Kynnoch, you have senescence? Senescience?
I do. Yep.
Give me a senescience roll.
All right. Let's see. What am I rolling? Where did that go? There it is. All right. Perception. Okay. That would be 90 out of 58.
You feel a strong, you're not detecting as well as you could. You feel an extremely strong sort of disturbance in the warp, a warp sort of shudder. You cannot pinpoint the direction from which it originated, but to be able to feel something like that when it's not directly in the vicinity, you didn't hear or feel any physical sensations, it must be fairly powerful or fairly strong of a warp signature, but you cannot determine where it came from directionality wise.
All right, so yeah, I will turn. As we're kind of doing this, I'll just say, gentlemen, I just want to let you know that the Harvest Mother might not have been the only one with the taint of the warp. I do not necessarily know exactly what we are in store for, but should be a show.
So I'll look to Jarnan and just say, if Kynoch's saying he feels something, could it be coming from the Harvest Mother? Or is it, is there a way you can finish the job you started on the Harvest Mother just to see if there's anything emanating from her?
Yeah, I can definitely do that after I check out the back of here, but it sounds like he was getting it from somewhere else, not just the Harvest Mother, since the Harvest Mother's kind of been there for a while. Once we check out, make sure there's not going to be anybody sneaking in from behind us, I'll make sure she's not coming back up.
And then the two of you give me scrutiny tests.
$21 out of 40.
Okay.
So,
32 out of 20.
Okay. Jarnan is taking a sweep sort of perimeter of the room, checking things out. You don't notice anything. I mean, there's not like anyone hiding. There's not a ton of places for people to hide. I mean, it's mostly an altar and then these kneeling sort of things. I mean, there's tapestries and stuff like that. You don't see anyone's feet underneath the tapestry. You don't see any secret doors or anything like that. Emmaus is inside the rectory. You see, I mean, it's mostly like a study, like a library, a personal library. There's a lot of books that are sort of typical imperial religious books. The desk has, writings and like sermons that the Harvest Mother was writing. There's harvest schedule, like not really posters, but like schematics of like the harvest schedule and what the moons mean and the emperor's blessing here and plant this here. And so as you're kind of looking around, you notice that there is one side of the desk looks as if it is solid, but you notice it has a weird sort of edge on it, and notice that it has essentially a secret drop panel on the side. And when you open it, inside it looks to be some writings in a language you don't recognize, a few sort of like parchment scrolls, nothing as large as a book or anything, but certainly, again, things that kind of remind you of some of the harvest schedules and things, but then also certainly other sort of miscellaneous papers, not like bound books or anything, of writing that without looking at it closer, you wouldn't be able to decipher. But it's certainly symbols that you don't recognize.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I will grab, just her specific writings. If there's papers on the table that the Harvest Mother's thoughts, whether she has like a running diary or just that normal stuff, I'm going to grab those and bundle them all together.
Okay.
And then, so I'm assuming I don't have to pull those out of the drop. They're just all sitting there, right? It's just like a hidden panel that's slid out that we can see them where they're at.
Yes. Yeah, and you kind of like looked and were like, oh, those are definitely things that are handwritten, but you can't read it.
Okay,
but
so
you haven't really like tried to like look through them per se. It's just kind of from the scatter. You're like, oh, that's different than what's on the desk.
Okay, so I'm going to see high or low. Low. Okay, so I'm going to pick the papers up. I'm going to actually touch them and pull them out and set them on the desk. And then I'll call to Kynnoch and Jarnan and say, I think I found something, but I can't decipher what's been written here.
Okay. Are you looking at them? Like, have you I guess when you're pulling them out, you're going to see them. Give me a willpower test.
52 out of 43 now.
So you're looking at them and like you set them down, and before you think to call out, you are compelled to, okay, no, you yell, I found something, but then you you set them down and you are just compelled to try to decipher them. And so you're looking at them and you're going through them, reading them, you're looking at the symbols, and as you do that, you just feel sort of this darkness, and you will, hold on, let me get to my roller.
Oh my God, no.
You're going to take 7 points of corruption as you feel the chaos penetrating your mind and soul.
Okay, that's good. I don't have any corruption points, so.
And you can't read them per se, but you recognize, like, as you're looking at it, you just feel like you feel anxious, like you should be taking action against, like you just feel like you're not doing what you should be doing. There's more to be done, that the world isn't as black and white as the Empire would make you believe.
Okay, I think Emmaus and Kynnoch have to have a conversation now.
So this is affecting me obviously internally, but this isn't stopping me from, calling. It's not like I'm trying to hide this.
No. You're just, you're not like hypnotized, but you're like, oh man, this is so interesting. I have to figure this out.
So I'm not trying to hide it or stick them in my,
Not unless you either want to. You could roll to see if you think your character would do that. You are not compelled to do that.
Okay.
If you would like to do that, you can. But as far as you kind of looking at it, all you were compelled to do is study.
Okay.
it.
So I think for Emmaus, the fact that he was bundling up some of the other papers, he was going to set those aside to say, I'll take these back and read to see if we can get a better feel on what's going on here. He wouldn't necessarily, in his mind, he's bundled up a bunch of stuff, the regular writings. So that would assuage his need for more knowledge and grabbing some books and things like that. So he'll read that and be kind of stumped by it and, call it to Kynnoch and Jarnan and say, I think I found something and I think it's a little more important than I thought originally when I first saw it. So I may need you guys to come back and help me. But I wouldn't necessarily feel, so obviously I'm reading it and feeling different and kind of questioning some deeper structures of the overall, but
let's say it's not like you're feeling like, oh, fuck the Emperor.
Yeah.
It's more like you're looking at it and for some reason you just like, it's like a tiny tug.
Okay.
Not like I'm compelled to like stop mission, or sacrifice someone to a demon. It's like as you're reading it, you're like, it's kind of not you're questioning. Let's say you're not questioning. It's kind of just like blowing your mind a little, even though you can't read it, but you're kind of like in awe,
subconsciously,
in a way. Like you're like, I've never seen anything like this, and you really want to know more.
Okay,
let's say that is more your feeling.
Yeah, so I'm just from that standpoint, I don't think that would cause me to not call everyone else to come back and look. So
sure, it's not it's not the One Ring where you're like, my precious. You're just kind of like, whoa, this is like, I've never seen something like this.
So it's not the Necronomicon, and I'm saying, hey guys, come read this. So it's not that strong of a feeling.
No.
Guys, this is fascinating. You got to come and see it. There's just so much information.
And then you start reading, Satan says in Latin, and then, a witch comes out. Oh, wait, you already killed the witch with your eye.
So I'll call to Kynnoch and Jarnan and say, come back. I need you guys to look at this. I think, I found something that may give us a bit of hopeful, depending on if you guys can decipher what's been going on here. And I'll stand at the desk with the two, obviously the papers I took originally, I'll pushed off to the side. No, actually the original, her diary and the schedules and stuff, I'll tucked away. And then the super neat hidden ones, I'll put on the desk and point when Jarnan and Kynnoch come in. I'll say, these were hidden up into the desk into this drop drawer here.
Yeah. And Kynnoch will kind of yell out from the other side. He goes, no offense, pilot, but I do believe we have a little bit more of a pressing matter going on right now.
Oh, I quite forgot about that. You're absolutely right, Kynnoch. Here, let me bring the papers out, and I'll grab them up and come out to the other door, to the other room, and I guess I'll be holding them, and I'll have my my pistol in the other hand, looking at the door, and I'll say, I've told you it would take about 20 minutes without delay for the captain to get here. Is that still the plan we want to go with? Do we want to stay here, or do we want to maybe make a break for it ourselves?
Well, unless you found a magical portal back there, I think this is our only option.
At this point, you start hearing banging on the door. Open up! What's happening in there? We've heard distress. Is the Harvest Mother all right? We need to hear from her. Pounding, pounding, pounding.
Jarnan picks up the head and moves the mouth. I'm okay.
Set up some strings and weekend at burning her at the altar. I'm doing a special sermon.
I've given up my sinner ways, and I have now devoted 100% to the God Emperor. Grain stinks.
Jarnan's gonna walk over to the door and kind of bang on it a couple times.
Okay.
Your harvest mother was tainted by the warp. The 2 guards in here with her were tainted by the warp. They are now with the God Emperor. Back away, or you will join him as well.
Lies! Okay, no. Give me charm, or like you could, or some religion. If you have, I guess, knowledge like ecclesiarchy, I guess you could use that too. If you want to try to reference anything.
Yeah, I'll go with
Because you're essentially trying to convince them that their religious leader is evil. And it's also going to be at a -30 because that's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
You don't have ecclesiarchy, do you?
No, I do have common law ecclesiarchy.
Okay.
I just saw the skill blather, and that kind of makes me. That sounds hilarious. Just side note.
Blather, yeah, you could use if you were just trying to distract them.
I just thought that was hilarious.
You could drag it out. You could for sure drag it out with blather, just ramble on about shit so that they stall. You could definitely do that.
You don't. Yeah, I don't think that Kynnoch should be speaking right now because I think I'm rolling like a -25.
Wow.
So.
Well, okay. So here's the deal: if you have common law ecclesiarchy, you can roll that and use the degrees of successes to offset some of the penalty for the fact that you literally murdered their religious leader and that they're like religious people. And if you want to try to convince them through scripture or some other type thing, you could do that and try to offset it for sure. But you're still going to need some sort of charm. Deceive isn't really the case because you're not trying to trick them into thinking something that's not true because it actually was true, but they just don't think it. So it's kind of a charm, really, to convince them. Or unless I guess you could intimidate, but that would be a different sort of.
Yeah. All right. So, you know what? I'll try to charm them because it really wouldn't be intimidate. And I'm failing horribly.
Okay.
I take a -10 to charm.
Wow.
Yeah, he's not a charming guy.
So yeah, if you rolled and failed like hard.
I roll, so I don't have it trained, so I'm rolling at half.
Why would you do that?
So,
well, you might as well try, right?
Yeah, why not, right?
Well, so charm.
What's it gonna hurt?
Yeah. Also, charm goes off of fellowship.
Yep.
And my fellowship is twice as good as my strength, and I don't have intimidate or charm trained. So
fair enough.
So, it's kind of a crapshoot either way. All right, so half of 50 is 25. So I had to beat a 15, and I got a 25. So,
you hear like rebel lies. These heretics they've murdered the Harvest Mother. We must take them to the king. He will deal with them. Justice must prevail. These off-worlders have murdered our beloved Harvest Mother. They must be evil. They are chaos and must be purged.
I'm going to yell back to the door. All right, you bring the king here, and I'll talk to him. But I'm not going to talk to you heretics on the other side of this door.
Sure. You don't hear them respond other than pounding on the door relentlessly. is there anyone else doing anything like super in the meantime before eventually there's louder pounding on the door, like they found some sort of battering ram or improvised battering ram of something to just start fucking hammering at the door.
So before they get in, I'm going to hit the microbead and call to Venari and just say, Captain, we're being pressed in the time it would take you to get here. We may need a different show of force. Is there a way we can call back up to the Heretic's Bane and have them just blow up a big field?
Laz payment.
Yeah, exactly. We just as a shame, just so we can scream, look, bastards, don't break down the door because, we can aim a bit more properly the next time. I just don't know how long it takes to.
Does anyone have common lore war?
Yeah, I do.
You wouldn't even need to roll for this.
Okay.
You can ask that,
yeah.
But you are well aware that orbital bombardment is not nearly that precise.
Okay.
The chances of even a lance shot, which is the most accurate, like not macro batteries, if you lance shot at it and tried to be close enough for them to be intimidated, but not so close that you get vaporized, that chance is slim. That like there is not that much accuracy. Like you could glass a planet probably with a Heretic's Bane, but you're gonna it's collateral damage all over. It is not pinpoint strikes.
So let's strike that captain. That's our last resort if we need.
You could do it, like you could like fucking get pretty close and probably not die, but you could easily destroy a fuck ton of the city too.
Yeah, I don't think we're in that position yet. So I'll just call out to the captain and just say, is there a way we can start mobilizing some of our troops to come down at this rendezvous point, at least to get that process moving in case we need to bring some people down. We can hold off as long as we can, but it might be worth just getting those gears in motion if we need some more help, so we're not waiting longer than we have to.
How long is it between Jarnan's call and this call, right? So like, do we want to jump back to Venari before this call comes in, or does it come like right on the like? Has it been 10 minutes?
Oh, it's been. I mean, he was looking at those papers and doing shit. It's been 5 to 7 to 10 minutes. Probably not 10. Maybe 5 to 7 minutes. Maybe a little. Maybe 10. Could be 10.
All right, let's cut back to Venari first, and then I'll take that call. So like he kind of turns to her like sort of sheepish grin, and is like, unfortunately, duty calls. I've had a lovely time. You are such a beautiful woman. There might be something that you could help me with. What do you know about the Harvest Mother? Like he's moving, he's like getting his clothes, he's kind of like getting his shit together as he's sort of like talking to her. He's sitting on the edge of the bed and like he's got his hand under her leg.
She's like, this is. I mean, I had a good time. I thought I took care of everything you needed, but is this kind of, I feel like this is kind of weird for kind of, the after talk.
It is.
Are you going to go see the Harvest Mother as well?
In a manner of speaking, I believe that's going to be the case.
How dare you? And she kind of like goes back and like covers up more.
What
am I, just another notch on your belt?
Of course not. I was so looking forward to spending the rest of the evening and a wonderful breakfast. I had all intentions of the crew. When you're running a ship as large as Heretic's Bane, they can't always work out the details on their own. It can be very frustrating. I was needed a night. This was such a perfect evening. I apologize that our time has been shattered in this way. A rogue trader's job is never done.
What's this emergency? Why do you need to know about this Harvest Mother?
Apparently, there's been an incident with the crew.
An incident? That sounds like you're trying to sugarcoat something.
Let's just say there was a bit of a disagreement. My navigator found out a little something that we were unaware of. It seems as if the Harvest Mother was tainted by the warp. He kind of like puts his hand over his face.
She's like, it sounded like like he's making quite a. Did you say tainted by the warp?
Yes, there is evidence to indicate that the Harvest Mother, in some form or fashion, either has dealings with chaos or maybe unlocked some things perhaps that she shouldn't have. I should let you know that when we inspected the grain, we did find that some of the older stores did have a warp taint. We were investigating, kind of let things go because this is a wonderful planet with beautiful people such as
so you were gonna wait to tell me that all of our tide was basically is tainted and ruined after you sleep with me. That was just convenient. It didn't come up beforehand.
Well, it's through no fault of your own. You're a very judicious woman, very good at her job.
Am I? I'm an agent of the Jesus. And she like starts getting up and like getting dressed like really like fast, like, oh, for Christ's sake, this is bad, sort of.
Is there any way that we could get in touch with the brothers? We may need to...
I think we must. This is going to be bad. I hope they haven't done anything. Accusations aside, that won't go well, but please tell me nothing else has... They haven't incited anything. I know... Did they confront her about this? She would not take that lightly.
They did, and she did not.
She immediately, like, comm relay. Like, she relays. Sorry, I gotta get names.
It's the Honingsberg.
It's the Honingsberg. I was trying to remember the one that's actually in charge, sort of.
Wasn't the one that was escorting? Yeah, sorry, the one that was escorting Jarnan around. Isn't he actually in the room with us?
Roderick? No.
No.
The acolyte, Kober?
Yeah.
I don't think he was in the room with you.
I thought he came back with Kynnoch. When Kynnoch came in, I thought they were together, but he could have rushed out.
I wanted to think he left because it was like a private conversation. I wanted to say that was what I remembered was him leaving.
I think where we left it off was Jarnan said that he wasn't in the room with us, and I think Bessie said if he needed to lean on their relationship, he would, he could call to him. I don't think he was in the room. I think he was out.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Bessie?
I think I left him behind because I was gonna like meet up with him later to have dinner. I don't think he came with me to the Harvest Mother.
Yeah, or I think you like had dinner and the Harvest Mother like came to talk to you then and was like, "Hey, let's talk." And then you went and he was like, "You can meet up with me later," because I'm pretty sure he was not there.
Yeah, I don't believe he was there. But
that makes sense. I just wanted to double check just in case.
She radios in. Essentially, she's like, I have to talk to Roderick now. Sorry, I have to talk to His Majesty now. And she kind of gives some codes that indicate the severity. And she's like, all right, well, we can take my car if you want. I can get us there quickly. The private planetary defense forces will be on their way quickly to try and defuse the situation. We must hurry. This could get bad, and we certainly want to beat His Majesty there.
I believe it already has. Like he's buttoning up his last button while she's, when she turns around and be like, "Hey, we got to go," and he's like,
Okay, she's like, "God, Emperor, help us all," and walks, like, kind of storm walks out, gets into the car, and is just like flying, like full on pedal to the metal. That's when you get the call from Emmaus.
Okay, so we're in the car. So he's like, let's table that for now. I am inbound with Lavina. We have a call into Roderick. The Planetary Defense Forces should be on their way to help defuse any crowd situation. ETA 10 minutes. Don't do anything stupider.
I think we've crossed that bridge already. We'll try to hold on and limit the amount of damage to ourselves and the people on the other side of the door as much as we can. But I can't guarantee you that there won't be a bit more collateral damage. We'll try to limit as much as we can.
All right, keep an eye on Jarnan. Don't let him. Yeah, well, And he kind of like gives her the side eye because he doesn't want to say like burn everybody in their room, but he figures Emmaus knows what he's talking about.
Understood, sir.
I'm not going to burn everybody in the room.
Well, it's just you guys now, but he doesn't know that.
I'm going to burn everyone in the hallway.
Yeah. I mean, you could open those doors and with a 30-degree arc, I don't even know how many people would die, but a lot of them.
I don't need to open the door. I just need to make a hole big enough for the flamethrower nozzle to go through.
Oh. Dude, imagine the combo if you flame them and I just stare the whole hallway.
Oh, Jarnan, it's already crossed Jarnan's mind. If they managed to break down this door.
The creepy part is Venari had the servo skull with him the whole time. So, like, it's in the back. I don't remember what the hell the name of the thing, if he even named it. But he's just like, he kind of looks over his shoulder and he says to the servo skull, he's like, relay the information to the ship. Because, of course, it's recording everything, so it knows what's happening. So he's like, inform the ship, make necessary preparations, blah, blah, blah. And it's, little lights pop on and it starts to, like, beep and whir and shit. And take care of that for him.
Okay. And then it's like transmitting secret sex tape to personal archive.
Okay. Well, question. Totally out of game, but was the servo skull there like the entire time you guys were having sex?
Yeah.
As an observer or an active participant?
Yes. No.
Handed him refreshments.
You're like, use that servo arm down there, baby. Probe me a little.
He's already not that he's forgotten about it, but it becomes part of the background. So it's just like always there. So like they're at dinner, like he comes in for dinner and it's kind of like there. It's just, looks funny and shit. And he's like, oh, kind of like waves it off and it like goes to the corner and it just kind of like sits and it doesn't power down because it's always recording, I guess.
You just put your jacket over it like a parrot.
Yeah. So he probably like maybe threw a coat over it. It's his top coat, like when they get to the bedroom or whatever.
Otherwise, you're like, check this out. I installed the Assmaster 3000 on this model. You're gonna love it.
See, those are the upgrades you put on there.
You gotta get that one. If you don't have the Assmaster 3000, it's pretty much worthless for a servo skull. Pick recorder and Assmaster. That's all you need.
So, like, she's like flying through the town. He kind of like, he puts a hand on her thigh, and he's like, I hope this doesn't change things. Hopefully we can sort this.
There is not time for that now. Let's worry more about your men and my citizens.
Well, I mean, of course. I'm just saying in the future. I mean, we do still have business to conduct, and we, still have some time here. I just thought that, perhaps.
Well, in the future, perhaps you'll leave the rest of your crew on the ship, where they seem to belong.
That may not be a bad idea.
We're animals.
She floors it faster. Right. So you, unless anyone in the room wants to do something very specific, I'll fast forward a tiny bit. While they're pounding on the door with what seems to be a makeshift battering ram of some sort, or some sort of tool, and it is kind of it's working. They're not through by any means, but it's definitely starting to like loosen the screws from the locks, and there's a lot more, give in that door as the hits are going.
Jarnan's just going to be standing on the other side of the door with his flamethrower out, just in case that door breaks.
So I'll look over to Kynnoch and Jarnan and just say, are we all agreed on an approach here? Are we going to meet force with force, or should we try to dissuade them from coming in and attacking us? Is there any other way we can talk our way out of this?
And he Kynnoch will glance over at the dead bodies on the floor. Said, I believe that time for words has passed now. And he has almost a sick little smirk on his face.
So I was trying to see if I, obviously Jarnan tried to give him a bit of the preaching and they didn't listen. I was trying to see if I have anything from scholastic lore, since I have these papers that I could shout out, but my fellowship is very bad and I don't have any other kind of personal skills. So I will pull out my bolt pistol and say, okay, it's been decided. Let's be ready for what's about to come.
All right. As you're waiting, you're there. Smashes. Starting to look like that door could give any second. At the same time, Venari and Lavina are on their way, and you can essentially you can start. You're at the outskirts of town, on the road headed toward the temple. You can see sort of the lights of the temple and the spire, and from there you can also see sort of a flashing set of strobes of some sort coming from the base of the temple. Right then, the smashing kind of stops for a second. You hear sort of the angry mob get quiet, and the smashing stops. And I'm going to take a dramatic break right there to go get a soda.
Damn it!
Which won't be a break
internal cliffhanger.
Grab a drink too, then. So I've got this shitty paper, all these shitty papers that are warping my brain. But I just from the way Neil described it, it doesn't look like or feel like I think, yeah, if I hand these to you, you guys are going to get all screwed up in the head. It's just something I'm internalizing, right? So if I wanted to show you guys these papers, it wouldn't be like I would necessarily know I was doing something wrong, right? I just want to make sure that I'm not waving them around if I know internally that there's something wrong with them.
Yeah, I don't think you would realize what was happening.
Okay,
like it's more of a compulsion than like.
Okay. I just want to, cool.
Yeah, I assumed you were going to show it to them.
Yeah, obviously you bastards going to get some corruption too. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't doing it spitefully. I was doing it in character.
I'm kind of on the cusp of, I think, if something happened to me corruption-wise. I'm at 17.
Yes.
So I think if I get a few more, I might like make it over the hill, and actually fucked up shit might start happening to me. So I'm down. I'm totally down with that.
That's good. Let me grab a drink. I figured that was the way you were going to go with that. So
yeah.
Hey, kind of check this out.
I pretty much don't get corruption, so I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to get corruption too.
No, like I literally have an ability. All I have to do is spend a single fate point, spend it, not burn it, and I don't get corruption.
That's good.
Nice.
So I am uncorruptible.
Actually, maybe it's insanity that I'm hard. I can't remember. There's something I can't. That's hard for me to get.
Already so insane. The game is like you're good. You can't get any more
You're
great.
probably jaded because there's a maybe not jaded. Jaded lets you ignore fear from mundane shit.
No, I am jaded as well.
And then, but yeah, there was some stuff. So Jarnan has to go insane, and Kynnoch has to get corrupted. All right.
Yeah, I'm only 3 insane and 0 corrupt.
All right.
You'd think somebody
I
who
am
burns
resilient
people
against
alive.
corruption.
Yeah. Oh, there you
I
go.
have 12 and 12.
Nice.
Well,
I'm
to be fair,
I'm at 17 and 10, so that's
damn.
yeah.
Well, after the 5 I got today, so I got 7 corruption. Now I'm up to 19 insanity.
Whoa.
And this is why
Whoa.
Jarnan is the voice of reason on the Heretic's Bane.
Checking on the insanity table right now.
Yeah, somehow the missionary, I guess, he's resolute, but then like everyone else is like, I seen some shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, but I have Dark Soul, so whenever I get a malignancy test, I only take it's only half the normal penalty.
That's pretty good. Because those malignancies add up to some real bullshit. Although some of them are fun. That was the one I loved in.
That's what I'm kind of hoping for. I
really like the one in Dark Heresy, but I didn't get to use it much because I wanted to take it as my initial malignancy, but my group is less kosher with
fun
because the malignancy I was going to choose, because my character was a demon exorcised psyker from a demon world, and I thought he was literally possessed by a demon that got exorcised. He's a
sounds
psyker.
like that motherfucker would be messed up.
Yeah, so I wanted to take Bloodlust as the malignancy, where if you get wounded in battle, you are required to kill every single enemy in that battle. You cannot let anyone take them hostage. You cannot let them do a non-lethal. You will kill everyone unless you are physically stopped.
I said that would be perfect. That almost sounds like metagaming. That would fit perfect for us.
But that was my thing. I was like, I'm a part of the demon's soul is left in me. So like, if someone wounds me, I have to fucking just spill blood everywhere. And people were not like, they were like, I don't know. And I'm like, you can always like grapple me. I'm a psyker. I have no strength. Just grapple me or something. But they were not a fan. I actually rolled it as my next malignancy. So I was like, fuck you anyway. But it was way late in the game. But I really wanted it to start because I thought role-playing wise, though, like as my character, I thought it fits like as the best of the choices of like what my character would do. Because he was just like, I will destroy all at this point.
Makes sense.
It was pretty fun. Anyway, you ready to go?
Ready to go.
All right, it was quiet. The door knocking stops. You hear there's a good 10 seconds, 15 seconds of quiet. And the group inside the temple hears a confident but restrained knock on the door, you know. PDF, open up. PDF, you would know as Planetary Defense Force.
I was just about to ask that. That's
Planetary Defense Force. That's the local militia army, the non-imperial army of most planets are called the PDF.
And that's different than the Arbites, right? The Arbites are the specific Imperium.
Yes. So these are non-conscripted Imperial soldiers. They are planetary only. So yeah, they are not the Arbitus or the Arbiters. They are like a planet-specific force.
That's good, because I have -20 to that when they're around.
All right. Well, good to know. So yes, they're not technically Arbiters. No.
Good to know.
All right. Jarnan's going to knock back and say, if I was to say to you that the Harvest Mother was so tainted by the warp that the God Emperor decreed that she was to be burned, how would you respond?
I would respond, I don't care about the Harvest Mother's corruption or the God Emperor right now. I care about peace and maintaining order in our community. A full investigation must take place. I'm not an angry mob. We're the local defense. And we're here to stop these people from harming you. And from what I understand, you may have harmed some of them.
People on that side of the door, we have not harmed. People on this side of the door, unfortunately, must be harmed due to them siding with a warp demon.
I don't know what you're talking about, son. All I know is I heard people were killed. And I heard you may have done the killing. Again, we're the law here. We're not here to pull weapons on civilians or visitors, citizens of the Imperium, even though we have not had contact in quite some time. I respect citizens of the Imperium, but my job is to enforce the law. And I will do so at the discretion of our king. We will not harm you, assuming once we open this door, you are unarmed and willing to surrender to the local force. You will get a fair hearing, and we will sort this out after all of the... And you actually hear him kind of like sniff through the door. Smoke clears.
I'm going to look over at Kynnoch and Enos. So I'm okay with letting them in.
Don't think we have much of a choice at the minute. I'm not very comfortable, but I think we're all confident in our actions here, so I see no reason not to let him in.
Indeed. Well, while I believe that we could hold our own, I think that letting them in, sorting this out, and perhaps our fearless captain can slip them some crowns and we can be upon our way instead of having to deal with a whole monotonous trial of sorts.
And I think we still have a sword dangling above them, and the planet itself. So we always do have a last resort if needed.
Yeah. I mean, this guy seems like he is on the right side of the law, and we did nothing wrong here. So as long as they are a just council, there shouldn't be any problems. With that being said, Kynnoch, you may want to cover up.
And he's already like putting the scarf back around his neck and turning and deactivating the hollow suit.
All right. So
Yep.
Do yourself a favor, put weapons away. We don't want to make them jumpy. I don't want to burn innocents. I only burn heretics. and these people actually seem to be innocent. That being said, keep your weapons at the ready. I'm gonna walk over to the door and just kind of bang on it. All right. We have put our weapons away. We are acting in good faith, in good conscience, that you are acting on behalf of the God Emperor's will. If that faith is misplaced, I cannot be held responsible for what the God Emperor does to you and your immortal soul. And I'm going to unbarricade the door and slowly open it.
Okay. Are you still holding your weapons?
I've holstered mine.
Technically, I don't have any.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do, but I don't. Yeah.
All of my weapons are away.
Okay, as you slowly open the door, you see a rather well put together force. It looks like what you would assume is the equivalent of like a SWAT team. In this case, the guy closest to the door is wearing full carapace armor. He has a bolt gun. Looks like he has a bolt pistol as a sidearm. He's probably not fucking around. The other ones have what looks to be bolt guns as well. Sorry, I'm going to say he has a bolt gun and a plasma pistol on his side. Everyone else has bolt guns and heavy stubbers or stub revolvers on their sides. They definitely are official. The carapace armor says, PDF, looks totally official. He kind of glances you up and down. At that point, the still the harvest folks are still in the room for the most part, and you hear them sort of like, "Oh, they killed the harvest." And then, like, you see sort of like the PDF kind of turns. Two of the guys kind of turn bolt pistol or bolt guns at the ready and are like, "Stand down!" And the cultists, whatever, the folks do not. I mean, that a bolt gun on this planet kind of almost makes you piss your pants if you're a civilian. So they're kind of like, oh, like they all back off. He's like, "Go back to your rooms. This is now a PDF crime scene. We're here to investigate. We don't need anyone contaminating evidence. All of you, we'll question you in time. Back off and wait for further orders." And they kind of all disperse a bit. The head, obviously the head guy, you assume, in the nicest armor. The other ones have flak armor. Walks up. He looks at Jarnan, because I believe Jarnan is in front, and is like, "You in charge?"
No, but not in charge of the ship, but in charge of religious matters. And unfortunately, what happened in this room was a religious matter.
Explain.
So, my compatriot here, Kynnoch, can sense warp chaos energy. And the Harvest Mother was infused with warp energy. She was a warp demon in disguise.
He looks, I mean, he's pretty, see, I mean, it doesn't, what you're saying doesn't seem to faze him, but he seems somewhat skeptical, and he looks and nods to Kynnoch and is like, "Psyker?"
And he'll kind of nod to them and say, "I am of the House Granicus. Navigator.
The commander, he says, "Pardon me for being so rude. Commander Hanan, I'm in charge of the PDF in the capital city. Rogers," and then nods his head. They take he has a set of manacles, and they don't ask or say anything at the moment. They essentially, the guy tries essentially go and just put manacles on Kynnoch.
Hmm.
And if you don't put up any resistance, he puts you in
Yeah,
manacles.
he'll kind of sigh, but then just flop his arms out.
So they put you in manacles and then puts a hood over your head.
He does not like that.
And the commander looks at Jarnan and just says, "Sorry, it's procedure."
How many people are in here now?
So there is you guys. There is one PDF member next to Kynnoch. There's the commander, and then 5 other PDF soldiers. All of the PDF soldiers have bolt guns and bolt pistols. The command and full flak guard, Imperial flak armor, and then the commander Hanan seems to have full carapace armor, a plasma pistol, and a bolt gun that does look modified. He clearly is important and or in charge of some things around these parts. So he's like, "All right, you're not in charge here. I think we've," kind of looks back, "handled the situation for the moment. I think it best for us to speak to both of our superiors. I assume whoever you work for is on their way then."
Yes, he is on his way here as we speak. We have been in contact with him. He is aware of the situation. To be completely transparent, there are 3 bodies in this room currently that have joined the God Emperor. One being the Harvest Mother, who, as I said before, is a warped daemon. The other 2 were those who were misled enough to stand against the God Emperor at her side.
He looks and he's like, "I can smell those 2. I mean, they're charred, disgusting burning masses on the ground." He kind of looks over at the Harvest Mother. He looks behind the guy that has secured Kynnoch is standing next to him, bolt gun ready, not threatening, but like there's a fucking psyker, even if it's a navigator. Although to you it seems as if this guy is at least somewhat knowledgeable in that he put a hood over the head, whereas some psychers, obviously just a general psyker, would not necessarily be foiled by that, but a navigator's power is from the third eye. So clearly the PDF is relatively well trained compared to yokels.
You said they're doing it routine, so it doesn't like they're not treating Kynnoch, they're not roughing him up or going out of their way. They're just kind of doing it by rote.
Yeah, it's kind of like you get the impression that it's procedure, perhaps not. You're not sure, like, would they do that normally? Like, let's say you guys docked and just came out. They may not do that. But in this case, it's more. It seems more prevention of harm than it does like we don't like psychers or there's some prejudice. It's more like this person is a danger and you don't want them to be able to, I don't know, melt people's brains. But they definitely seem to know more than like, obviously like a local populace who hasn't been in contact, say, or, you know, like yokels that don't know much. They seem well trained and very well disciplined, as none of them seems to have reacted too extremely.
Okay.
Like they're not like nervous per se. They're just like
just doing it by the book kind of thing.
Yeah, they're very professional, like a trained you know, military, police, SWAT type group. They are just following orders. And the commander definitely seems you know, confident in the situation. He looks back, tells one of the men to seal off the area, the prayer kind of area, for evidence type, you know, collection, like seal this off. Let's, you know, don't contaminate the area. We need to do a full investigation. As they're starting to rope stuff off, he has the rest of you and the other PDF soldier or officer escorts Kynnoch, kind of takes him gently, just kind of like holds him by the arm to walk him, since he has the thing, through the doors, and sort of has you standing outside and waiting. And that's when the car pulls up. Venari and Lavina walk in. Go ahead.
Sorry, just real quick, before I leave the room, with kind of everything settling down slightly, and now that he can kind of focus, is there any way I can do another sign of science check just to see if I can pinpoint that energy I felt earlier?
Sure.
Forgot about that.
All right, let's see here. That is 48 out of 58.
It's not nearly as strong. It seems to be fading very quickly now. And because it's fading, you can actually feel it pulling back from the west direction from where you are now. And it's fading. You assume the source then was from that direction. And you can kind of feel essentially like from where you're standing, you can feel essentially like if a circle was converging, like on that edge, you could feel the pull toward the center of it. So you can get a sense of which westward direction this particular energy seems to be diminishing from.
Okay.
Can we say that Venari got there like just before they started to leave the room? Like, 'cause he's like starting to like wave the guy to like do the thing, you know, like rope up the thing and all that kind of stuff that they sort of pull up.
Yeah, why not?
All right, so they pull up and he's like, let me handle this. I'll go grab the crew, wait for Roderick. You know, we'll explain the situation, blah blah blah. So he jumps out of the car, the, you know, servo skull in tow, like not seeing like all the weapons and all the other stuff. Like he's pissed now. So he kind of like comes around and he's like, yeah, go rope that off. And he kind of like comes around the corner and like steps into one of the charred corpses. He's like, what the, God damn it. What the fuck? One night? One fucking, and he's like standing right next to the big guy in the flak arm. Why the fuck are you wearing a hood? What the hell is going on?
At this point, unless if you want to make a test, otherwise, the guy in the carapace armor just grabs, like, chest grabs whatever he can grab closest to your chest or neck and is like, who are you and what are you doing in my crime scene?
Remember how I said my supervisor would be around shortly? That's him.
And then he pulls him closer and he's like, I said, who are you?
I think you need to take a step the fuck back because I am Rogue Trader Venari Hallerman. We're here to pull this fucking backwater planet back into the good graces of the God Emperor's loving light. And my missionary informs me that the woman who controls the grain tithe here is a fucking demon. So that's who the fuck I am right now.
He is still, unless you've done something, he's still holding you hard. I mean, the guy is strong.
I lean in. We're fucking like, we're nose to nose.
At that point, his hands, he's using one hand to grab you, bolt gun stick 2 hands. He pulls a plasma pistol.
Oh no.
That's literally like revving, like, and puts it straight up like to your chin. And is like, I don't care who you are or who you say you are. This is my town. This is my jurisdiction. And your men murdered civilians on my watch. And I plan to do a full investigation. And if you have a problem with it, I'm well within my right to stop you.
Oh,
and at that point, it's like full-on plasma pistol, like to your head.
Yeah. He goes, oh, I was under the understanding that this was Roderick's town. He'll be here shortly, and we can discuss it then, I suppose. It's a nice pistol. I have one of those, too.
That's great for you. But I'll tell you what. Roderick trusts me more than he trusts some cowboy coming from the Imperium, abandoning us for years. He'll take my side over yours, I guarantee it. I'm not threatening you until you're saying that all of this can just go unpunished. My job is to keep order. And your men incited a riot and murdered 3 of our citizens, unprovoked, without providing any evidence to the PDF or to the king. So let's wait for Roderick, and we'll see who he sides with.
Sure, that's fine. I didn't realize warp demons can be citizens. You guys run a very loose organization here, apparently.
He looks so at that point. At this point, okay, does
Lavinia come in? Like, does she hear the commotion and come in? Like, it's fine. Like,
no, at this point, she's waiting outside. It's pretty to the inner chamber. It's a little far. He grabs you. At this point, he's gonna forcefully pull you. And again, unless you resist, he's
pulling a Trump on you.
He's going to pull you over to the Harvest Mother and throw you like straight into her face. And at this point, she's just a person. She's just a body. And he's like, does that fucking look like a demon to you? It looks like a fucking woman to me.
Well, she does, but can you see into the warp? Because the guy with the fucking bag on his head can.
At this point, so he lets go. He lets go. Stands up and is like, we'll see. I'm not going to have a pissing contest with some fucking off-worlder coming in saying the Emperor has our backs The Emperor abandoned us, and we've been making it just fine on our own. So I'll tell you what, you can say whatever you want, and maybe it's true and maybe it's not, but my job is to find out and not to listen to shits like you.
So he stands up and he kind of just like brushes himself off, crosses his arms, and he says, I got all the time in the world.
And then he's like, not in here, outside. This is a crime scene.
And he kind of like leans in a little bit, gives him like a jaunty fucking salute, and just like walks out the door.
So as you guys are walking out, he starts walking out right behind you. He looks fucking furious. Like, so mad. And then, so you guys walk out. The other guys escort the rest of you guys out. They rope it off. You see a couple PDF folks, like, go in. Two of the guys start going in. They start bagging evidence, taking picked quarter recordings, sectioning everything off. Say, 10 minutes later, you hear a car pull in and walks in. You see walking in a man, in his 40s, like straight up fucking. I mean, this guy is 100% a noble, like as fucking decked out in the most expensive shit you can imagine. And not just that, like, he's got a power sword. He's got, like, a pistol you don't even recognize. Like, you're not even sure what it is. And armor that looks not just, like, very well reinforced. Cloak. This guy is decked. Lavinia's behind him a few steps, looking like she has potentially been reprimanded to some degree. She's looking a little sheepish. The guy walks up as confident as you could possibly get. What's the situation here? I've been disturbed. I was ready to go to bed, and apparently someone has caused problems. And then the commander walks up. You see them kind of do a short exchange. He kind of nods at him to kind of like make sure everything's secure, walks up, says, so, seems a rogue trader has arrived. I heard rumors there was a ship that landed. I didn't quite believe it. I'm usually made aware of these things. The warp storm has cleared. It's nice of you to bless us with your presence.
He realizes he needs to take a different tack, so he steps forward. He gives them a very crisp and formal bow. He says, indeed, I am rogue trader Venari Hallerman of the Heretic's Bane. This is my command crew. We were informed that the warp storm had dissipated, so the local Imperium made it a priority to reestablish contact, which we have done. But it appears that my navigator has found, unfortunately, some degree of warp taint on the Harvest Mother. She did not take kindly to the accusations, and unfortunately, things have gotten out of hand. I'm not sure. I was not present at the time. I'm not sure why you were not informed of our arrival. I assume that was something that would take place on your end down here. When the when the ship pulled in. We've obviously made contact to the spaceport, and we're shown the grain stores and everything else.
Well, apparently there was a delay. It wasn't deemed important enough for me to learn of. Kind of looks back at Lavinia, who kind of puts her head down a little more. So those are quite the accusations. And he kind of looks behind you to the scene in the back, apparently have murdered a holy figure in our community. Something that won't go over well. Something that I would say requires more evidence than a psyker's word against years worth of service to the community. She has created the tithe every year, which the Imperium has failed to collect. They've failed to deliver upon any of their promises. And you simply expect me to take the word of a navigator from a rogue trader ship of all things? Not even an Imperial vessel.
I unfortunately do not understand. Kynnoch, please. The adults are speaking.
You can remove the hood. I'm not afraid of Navigator's power.
Unfortunately, I do not understand the warp as well as Kynnoch does. The regretful disappearance of the Imperium from the bosoms of the people it was an unfortunate aspect of the warp storm, which clearly I have no control over. When we found out, as I said, they contacted us to go ahead and make contact. There are some things with the tithe that we should probably discuss in private. And he kind of turns his head to look at the captain, sort of dismissively, like, this is not for you. But perhaps my navigator can explain the situation better. His connection with the tumultuous warp energies. Maybe a demonstration he can potentially prove. His power. I don't know what I want to say.
Oh, I'm sure if you've made it here, he has powers. Can't travel through the warp without a navigator, but I believe you're correct. This is not the appropriate venue for such discussion. If you don't mind, I'd invite you to join me at the palace. Of course, I can offer you rooms for the evening. You will be guarded, of course. Can't have you running amok in my facilities like you did here. I assure you, there's no warp taint or demons hanging about in our palaces, or else surely more corruption would have spread throughout our community than has, according to you, already happened. We are all committed to the Imperium. I am committed to running this colony as I was bestowed from my father, who again was a faithful citizen of the Imperium. So, if you'd like, why don't we retire to my facilities and we will have a discussion as I let the commander go about his business and do his investigation as is protocol.
Indeed, as you see fit. We don't wish to cause any more trouble, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of this situation.
Indeed. I'll have a car prepared. And I will instruct the PDF to escort you nobly to the palace. Of course, I won't treat you as criminals. Nothing's been proven as of yet. You will be our guests, and we'll simply have a straightforward discussion, man to man, and perhaps we can work this out. And take those bindings and hood off. That's unnecessary. You can handle one psyker, and if you can't, I don't know what I'm paying you for.
Kynnoch will put his hands out.
Like, yeah, like the guy like takes his hood off, takes the manacles off, and he's like, well, my car awaits. I will have transportation arranged for you very shortly. If you need anything else in the meantime, I've left Lavinia with some modest provisions. I'm sure such activity generates perhaps some thirst or perhaps an appetite. So wouldn't want guests to go to be treated less than even our lowliest of prisoners. Surely you deserve at least that much. PDF will attend to your needs. We will make sure the rest of the Harvest clan is sequestered to their bunks, and order shall be maintained.
As it should be. All under the Emperor's purview.
Quite. I appreciate your understanding, and I appreciate your cooperation, sir.
I can be as reasonable as the next man. We live a jaunty lifestyle, but most rogue traders are, have the Imperium's best interests at heart. And he looks at Jarnan.
He kind of looks a bit skeptical. He's like, indeed, and walks away. Walks. Lavinia kind of does like a head down nod, bow. He keeps walking. She approaches. I apologize. I think that went better than expected. Certainly for what happened, and I do have some provisions, and the vehicle will be waiting. You'll be guests at the palace. That's quite an honor.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't trouble yourself over it. We'll take this as it comes, and I'm sure everything will work out in the end.
I hope so. And if you could put in a good word that I hadn't overlooked, let's say this is heresy. If it weren't entirely my fault for missing it, that would be beneficial for me.
You have no worries. Definitely put in a good word for you. The corruption of the warp is mysterious and wily. Someone such as yourself would not be able to discern the vile nature of a chaos demon.
By the Emperor's light, I hope not. I hope I'd never even see such a thing. Perhaps it's more insidious and subtle than I'd been taught. I thought it would be more obvious if it were true.
Oh no, it's quite subtle.
Well, it seems we should retire. If you will, I can escort you to the cars. Unfortunately, I believe the commander has some business. The commander walks over and requests all of your weapons and items. For the moment, they'll all be returned. They'd all be kept secure. They will be on site in the palace in a secured room. A PDF essentially the headquarters station is actually in the palace, under guard, of course, by the commander or his reporting officers, as clearly you have equipment of utmost value. He would not want to see anything happen to it, but it must be cataloged. At least everyone but Venari, it has to be cataloged as evidence for the moment and investigated.
Kynnoch hands his hell pistol over like somebody who has ever only held it twice.
So Emmaus is going to hand over his pistol, and he will hand over one bundle of papers and tell the commander, myself and my comrades found these notes hidden in a drawer in the Harvest Mother's rectory. So I'm going to hand over the one pile of papers.
The hidden ones?
I'm going to give him the normal ones and say they were the hidden ones.
Okay. You gotta give me a stealth check because they are going to search you.
I'm trying to think of what I have on me that I could. Let me see stealth.
I'll give you a plus 10 because you gave him something telling him it was the hidden one, or whatever, the sleight of hand, or
agility.
Or I guess there's a conceal, isn't there? Though, is there a conceal in this one? Jesus, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, they're both on agility.
So conceal would be the technical one.
04 out of 25.
Nice.
Wow. All right. Well, it's going to be opposed, but that's going to be hard to oppose.
It's my agility's 50, so that's half. So 25.
All right. 30. Okay.
If he makes it, before you answer, if he makes this, if I use a fate point, does that make it an automatic, or do I have to roll again?
You'd have to roll again.
Okay.
Or if you can burn a fate point ahead of time to get plus 10, or you can re-roll.
Okay, that's fine. I just didn't know if it was an automatic success, but.
Ooh. He got a 2.
Wow.
Under 48. So what was your 25? Yeah, he has more degrees. Yeah. So he definitely will find it. If you want to re-roll, you can try.
So that's not burning it, it's just using it, right?
Correct. It's just using.
What the hell?
Can you get better than that though? That's
You can't get better degrees.
He can get a 1.
Yeah.
Right. If he had a 1, it would be a critical.
As long as I'm using it, I'm not burning it. So.
Oh wait, perception's 38. No, it is 48. Sorry, it's 48. 448 or 248.
Nah, 37.
He searches like one of the guys. He's searching you, and pulls out of sort of the back of your of your back these other papers. He's like, "So what are these then?"
They were
papers.
I found them in the Harvest Mother's office too. They were quite intriguing, and I wanted to try to do more study of them with myself and my shipmates, thinking we may be able to decipher something from it. But I must warn you, they are very odd.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna act like I'm was trying to be super secret. I was just gonna, as my background, it was knowledge, and I wanted to know knowledge. So it was just I was very intrigued by it, and I was taken by it, and thought I could help lend some. Obviously, a suspect has it, but
yeah, he's like, hands it over. Everyone else, is there anything anyone is hiding? Like Kynnoch doesn't have anything other than the pistol, right? And like,
no, I have a metal staff, but I don't think I actually have it with me right now. So
okay, Jarnan.
Jarnan is just gonna give them a look, and then just open up his robes. And there's 2 chain swords, a power sword, and a flamer hanging from his belt under his robes. Take them, but know that the wrath of the God Emperor will fall on any man or woman who damages these.
He looks at you very seriously, like not as a like fuck you, but like I promise you they will be safe. And like the guys, the other PDF officers are carefully collecting them and being like, Jesus Christ, like I mean they have good weaponry, but it's still like fuck. Well, this is like a one-man army standing here for fuck's sake. And then he looks at Venari and he's like, Captain.
And he pulls the like he pulls it like this way, so like he's holding it by the by the barrel and like hands him the handle of the plasma pistol. And he says, "I'll expect these back," and he like pushes it at his chest, and then does the same with the sword. Like he grabs it with the offhand, hands it out to him.
I promise you, they will be returned in their original condition.
And then he nods to him.
So he takes them, assuming you guys are totally cool with that. You go to the cars. It's very nice, like State Department limo cars that they're transporting in. They're very nice. Certainly royal cars. And they are driving you to the palace.
Venari opens up the center console and looks for the Amasec. Like he looks for like the little mini bar.
Yeah, there's a mini bar, and it's all yours if you want. Like whatever you want to drink, you can drink it.
He pulls out a glass and he pops the top and he starts to pour it. Like he like brings it over and he's like he puts the glass down and he just fucking drinks from the bottle and he's like, "Tell me what the fuck happened again." I assume we're alone, or maybe Lavinia's in the car with us. Like
it's up to Lavinia is not. She is taking her car back to her place.
Okay.
And the rest of you are in essentially a limo type deal on your way to the palace.
Okay. He's like, lay this out. Can we prove this? Like what the fuck?
Yes, we can prove this. We can actually prove it very easily. All they have to do is take any one of their psychers and bring them and look at all the tithes that were supposed to go to the God Emperor.
Well, yes, clearly that is one of the things I wanted to discuss with him and not in mixed company. This is something that he should be apprised of because clearly no one seems to know unless the cult themselves, obviously are keeping this under wraps, if they even know.
So the papers I was trying to hide were the ones that were actually hidden by the Harvest Mother, and they have a very weird pull on me. I was very intrigued by them. I wanted to study them more. I can't decipher what they were saying, so hopefully that should be some more evidence that weighs against her.
When you say pull on you, what does that mean exactly? You were interested? What are you trying to say?
I'm always looking for more knowledge. I like to collect knowledge, and those papers had knowledge that I couldn't understand. So I was trying to figure out what it was saying, whether it was a cipher or whether it was code. I don't like to be defeated when it comes to puzzling things out. So that it was more of a personal challenge to myself to figure out what it was saying, and I couldn't figure it out. So I was a bit rash in trying to keep it, but I wanted to see if I could solve it for myself. So hopefully that evidence contained therein will go to proving the guilt of the Harvest Mother.
She may be a hive mother indeed. Kynnoch, you clearly detected the warp on the grain. What was it about the harvest mother that you felt was amiss?
Well, I sensed the same aspiration from the warp as I did with the grain. She had the same malfeasance about her. That's all. I simply mentioned that I had sensed that there was some warp taint about her, and she did not take too kindly to that.
But
I will say,
you didn't think that was maybe something that we could discuss in private and not in front of a room full of people, perhaps?
I felt it, especially with Jarnan there, that he could very easily take care of the situation. I felt no need to bother you when you were in the midst of your debauchery.
I do appreciate that, but to throw this to Jarnan, even under the promise of him being able to burn heretics while we were here, again, probably something we should have discussed behind closed doors. No response from Kynnoch?
Bessie. Oh, I thought you were talking to Jarnan. Sorry.
No, I was still talking to you.
This was a matter of warp chaos in the ecclesiarchy, and I just assumed that you would put Jarnan in charge of this anyway. So cut out the middleman and just let him take care of business.
Well, I mean, I do appreciate expediency, but we also need to reserve a certain amount of tact in situations such as these.
Very well, very well. I will take that into consideration next time, I suppose.
Jarnan, you said that she tried to manipulate you to her will in some fashion?
Yeah, she tried to mind control me. However, my training prevented her from taking full control of my mind.
Well, thanks be to the God's Emperor. They're the God Emperor.
Yes, thanks be to the God Emperor that didn't happen. But it also just proves that Kynnoch was right.
But we can't prove that she tried to manipulate your mind. I mean, I of course believe you implicitly as my missionary and your faith and strength in the Emperor's loving light. Of course, I believe this happened, but they don't know you as well as I do.
Yeah, these seem like reasonable folk. I'm sure we can convince them that she was indeed who we say she was.
Well, the Emperor make it so.
Yes, and speaking of all this, I do believe that it would be pertinent to bring up at this point in time that I do not think our troubles are over with the eradication of the this mother.
She seemed quite dead, Kynnoch.
Yes. However, in the fray afterwards, I picked up the sense of another adoration of the chaos within this area.
And you couldn't have told us that before we handed over all our weapons?
I did not want to say anything else in front of the other people to stir up even more of an issue. And plus, it was the whole matter of me having a hood over my head. Pardon me.
This might not be a good time to bring it up, but perhaps the Harvest Mother herself was not herself intrinsically tainted by the warp, but perhaps controlled by this other entity that Kynnoch felt afterwards?
Oh, no, no. She definitely had been twisted. However, there is a possibility that she either was in league with another individual, or perhaps she had passed on the taint to this person, or maybe vice versa. Either way, though, we are perfectly in the clear when it comes. As long as they can bring in another psyker and they can check this out. I have a feeling that this planet isn't exactly... they don't look favorably upon those with more acute senses. So I'm not entirely sure their planet has that kind here. At least not in the natural sense.
Well, I do know Lavinia had mentioned over dinner that the black ships had come here prior to the warp storm. So depending on how often those mutations occur, there unfortunately may not be any psychers here.
Indeed. What direction are we heading right now, Neil?
Into the city. So it's basically like, so not like in like, so in the city, there's sort of like a hill, sort of raised, elevated area, and that's where the palace is. The palace is quite ornate and large. So you're heading back east to the city, and then north is where the palace is.
Okay. Yeah. Wasn't west, there's a mountain range, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had gotten something from that direction before as well.
I believe so.
So yeah, I'll have to inform them that the energy that I picked up earlier was heading west towards the similar feeling that I had gotten prior.
I believe. I'm not sure if I told you that or not. Yeah. So the west is past the mountain ranges, desert.
If I recall, there was some like messed up stuff. Like maybe there was like some weird clouds or something like that.
Yeah, you felt an energy, and it's sort of quote the wastelands. Like stuff doesn't grow there. It's past the mountains. It's a desert. So that's the directionality that you felt the retraction toward.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. Yes. That has to be beyond just mere coincidence, I feel.
Yeah, and I don't believe in coincidences, that's for sure. Well, we've gotten ourselves into I say you have gotten ourselves into a pickle.
And as our fearless captain, I have no doubt that you will get us out of this.
Of course, of course. The captain's job is never done.
You mean corpse pickle? I don't actually want to know what that is. Exactly. It sounds worse than I thought it was, and now that I think about it. All right, so you guys pull up to the palace. The driver obviously, opens the door. You guys step out, and you're in front of essentially a ludicrously ornate estate. And I think we're going to call it there as you are led toward the palace.
So I get this right, we're all invited. So even the three of us, obviously I think we have a little bit more people guarding the three of us, but we're all invited up to the party at the big house, right? So
yeah, it's not really a party. He was just inviting you to be at the palace.
But we're not locked up somewhere, the three of us separately.
Yes.
Correct. Well, not locked up. By that, you're still under lock and key and guarded,
Yes.
but you are not in a jail.
Yeah.
Likely, I would say you would probably know, without even rolling a knowledge check to some degree, that there are at least some privileges that a rogue trader would probably invoke. And so being part of a rogue trader crew and the only ship, according to them, that has landed in a long time of the Imperium, you're probably getting significantly special treatment. But yes, you're guarded, but not like, you're not in jail. You're at least like being treated as guarded guests.
Okay.
It's a gilded cage, is what it is.
Yeah. Like you get very nice accommodations, but you're probably not allowed to just like run around and do whatever you want without someone being with you or being summoned to certain areas. Yeah.
They still lock our door at night.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
like-
sure there's a dude there with a big gun.
Yeah, it's like being in the White House. There's fucking guys in suits like every, down the hall, in the corner, in the kitchen, and the whatever. They're just like standing all around.
Yeah. If you try something, there's definitely fucking royal guards that are at least as armed as the commander. Like, they are no joke. The driver, you could tell, like, I mean, he's wearing like imperial sort of garb, but like, he has a bolt pistol, for Christ's sake. And like, everyone associated with the Royals seem to be minimal bolt pistol.
Yeah.
Some of the other folks are like fucking melt-to-guns and shit. Like, you see some like the guys out front have like some serious like plasma guns, not plasma pistols. And so that's pretty serious business.
So we still have a way to communicate with the ship if we need to, right?
Do we have our microbeads still? I was just going to ask that.
Yes, but they seem to be jammed currently.
Okay. And
In
what
proximity of the thing, yeah.
And what about the servo skull? Is he still with me?
The servo skull they would probably take as evidence. Well, no, you weren't.
I wasn't there. And it is my like personal assistant.
Yeah, they will let you keep the servo skull, actually.
I assume I can't remember. I tried looking at my notes before. Does this thing have a pistol? I can't remember.
It does, I believe, have a
las gun. It's a piece of
it has a las gun, yeah, which is when someone's wearing like Stormtrooper carapace, that ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah, no, it's garbage.
They're not so worried about it.
Okay, I was gonna say, did they take the pistol from it?
I'll say they have some sort of technology to like a restraining bolt in Star Wars.
A screwdriver.
Like where the plasma pistol or the las gun or the las pistol and the pick recorder do not work.
Okay.
You don't want you recording stuff in the palace either. So
that makes sense.
So they have a way to disable it, sure.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Otherwise, we're going to call it at the palatial entrance.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
It's like all gold and shit. Like the fucking gates creak open. They're like all fucking shiny. There's like 3 guys in black suits or whatever standing out front.
Oh, it's like baller as fuck. Like, so the difference is the rest of the town is sort of almost our technology-ish, maybe a little better, clearly. But the palace is like extremely good imperial technology. Like, good technology. So they seem to have access or have maintained significantly better equipment and facilities than, say, the rest of the planet, or like the civilians. the royals are ridiculously well off and have extremely good equipment and facilities.
Okay, fair enough. That makes sense. Probably just taking everything from the city. I know the like the granary and stuff was all like Adobe shit. Like it was all like very low tech.
Yeah, yeah. So there's definitely a disparity. It's maybe not as much like took it as much as had the means to maintain versus like once stuff kind of broke, or because there was equipment and machinery inside like the grain stuff, but like if something is broken that's like a grain milling thing, they're like, well, I'm not gonna fucking like, I need my parts for my fancy town bread machine. Like, I have a bread maker, fuck you. Like, go do whatever you got to do to fix it, but like make it cheap. So or maybe they somehow were getting additional technology outside of the rest of the civilization. You don't know. Royals may have other abilities to do things. You don't know. It's possible.
Yeah, that was my other thought. But I'm assuming the storm would have kept them from doing any sort of trading or whatever. But I guess we'll find out.
That really depends. Depends on a lot of factors.
They're all fucking demons.
Some Xenos could do that too, actually. But the Tau don't need. The Tau could probably go through it technically. Although if they were Tau, you would know they'd all be basically Borgs. But theoretically, that does. I think that Tau could make it through a warp storm because they don't need to see a beacon. They travel through short jumps through the warp.
Well, I did notice he had a very odd-looking pistol that I couldn't quite place. So
yes, he does have a very exotic-looking pistol.
Yeah,
It did not look like any standard Imperial pattern, but you know,
I may have to make a check next time on that, like if a Forbidden Lore Xenos, to see if I know anything about, you know, if it's like a
possible
Eldar pistol or something like that.
You never know.
Yep. All right, cool.
All right.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thanks for running. Thanks you guys for playing.
Thank you.
It's good to finally get this one in.
I know.
Went about as well as could be expected, I guess.
I didn't even get to rush my 20 to 30 mooks so that you could shred them or have them at least punch you in the... Like, I had, like, all the mooks had, like, basically stub revolvers, but it was going to be, like, groups of, like, 5 of them just rushing in at a time, being like, blam, 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 blam.
So awesome.
And I really wanted to do it. And then, like...
we could have killed, like, 10 people at a time.
You wasted everyone, like, so immediately that they didn't even get a chance to show up.
That's probably...
That sets a bad precedent for next time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I killed Harvest Mother so quickly.
I know. You fucking melted her brain in 2 seconds.
Jarnan took like 5 seconds to kill 2 guys. Ugh.
Yeah, what a loser. It took 2 turns.
Come on.
2 turns? Jesus.
To be killed 2 people in 2 turns, I killed 1 person in 1 turn, so I guess it kind of evens out.
Yeah, but like 2 people that were like not nearly as good. She was
that is
like,
true. Jarnan
she had a psi rating of 6 and was a warp witch technically. So like, you fucking killed a warp witch with 1 psychic blast. It's pretty badass.
Well, next time I'll just let her mind control me. And
there you go.
And mow him down.
Not feel bad.
I am so glad that you guys did not see me either, because that would have messed the both of you up.
Yeah, I was like, this is the one that you really want to fail. You really want to fail this one. You guys seem so disappointed that you failed. That was the reason you didn't have your brains melted.
We have to work on some kind of a safe word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stroganoff.
Yeah.
It's like, no, don't look.
Warp shit.
Well, no, I want P. I don't want to give it away completely.
Kombucha.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Just that's it. That's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Kynnoch would just use Venari's name, so like he would just wait for him to turn around every time.
Yeah. All right, everybody. The safe word is "Hey, Venari, look over here."
Venari, stare at my forehead.
Venari, is there something in my eye?
Oh my God, which one?
You're like, it works every time.
Only has to work once.
Yeah, when you roll like that, shit.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage, man. That was insane.
Yeah.
See, I wanted to set Venari up for that kind of encounter with the guy. Because I feel like everything is peaceful, and like Jarnan's got everything sort of worked out, and okay, everything is peachy. He just like fucking runs in. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I like the acting all like I'm a badass. I don't give a fuck about you idiot local yokels.
I have a feeling I have a feeling right before we leave, that guy's gonna get a power sword through the brain skull. Venari's just gonna be like, "Oh, hey, by the way."
I don't know, right? So like
later.
in a real Warhammer game, probably, right? I mean, like Neil shot somebody just because he walked in front of him.
Yeah.
But
it was my own crew member.
Yeah.
I own him.
I kind of feel like Venari's a lot more smarmy than that, right? So, like, assuming we work this out, we get one up on that guy. So it's just kind of like a wink and a nod and like, hey, fuck you. Because, you know, we had dinner at the fucking palace and, like, I drank some really good anesthetic last night.
Yeah.
Instead, Venari ends up just having sex with that guy's wife.
Oh, that would be so good. You'd be 2 for 2 on this shit planet.
Well, surprise. He's gay. He's married to a dude.
I think take that sacrifice.
Yeah, he does it on principle. Fuck
just
that guy.
just as a fuck you. I don't even care. This is just about revenge.
I'm gonna fuck him to fuck you.
Oh, shit.
All right, I gotta get to bed. I'm exhausted.
I hear that.
Good game. I think it went really well. It took directions I didn't think it would take. With some fun stuff. So I think it'll be fun. I got some real good ideas for the next one. So we are all set.
Nice.
I'll try to like stat block out some real shit for real, so it doesn't take so much time, and John doesn't have to edit so much stuff. But I say that I won't do it, but I'll think.
I know. It's fine. I have to edit anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But I have some pretty cool ideas. I know where I'm going to take some of this. I got a plan.
Cool.
That you will ruin immediately, but whatever.
Yay!
Not Venari.
Like, essentially, I'll be like, "Oh, this is what I think will happen," and in 5 minutes, somehow you will completely have to make me go the opposite direction. That's every game.
It's like herding cats.
So but it'll work out. It'll be good either way.
Hey, at least we don't do 2 hours of just endless debating. So there's that.
It's true. You guys almost don't think at all. One game you will think for 2 sessions straight, and then it gets fucked up, and you guys think not at all, and then the same results. You can just save yourself the trouble in the other game by just doing anything.
That's fair. That's completely fair.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm a sleepy time.
All right, take it easy.
All right. Later, y'all.
Thanks,
Night,
guys. All right, well, just want to throw out, thank everybody for checking this out. We appreciate it. If you could leave us a review on iTunes or Podchaser or whatever your podcatcher of choice is, that would be fantastic. We totally appreciate it. Birds of Feather Coffee and Legends of Tabletop together bring you Legendary Brew. You can order the Legendary Brew at tinyurl.com/Legendary Brew, or use the link in the show notes. We appreciate that. Sales go back and kick a couple of bucks to the podcast. I'll pay for hosting and all the other stuff. Like us on all the things. We're all over the social media, and we'll catch you next time.
And if you want to be really cheap, Legends 10, you get 10% off, and you can still get, and John still gets his cut of the money.
And it's free shipping.
And it's free shipping. Guys, there's no reason not to order this coffee, and it's got a fancy, cool label now.
It's a resealable bag.
It's a really nice resealable bag. I pay
really
way
nice
more
bag
for those bags than the garbage bags most people buy for their companies. So just saying, you guys are getting a great coffee with a great label and a 10% discount, and it supports a great
quality
podcast.
all around.
It's support the podcast, guys.
Yeah.
Don't make John pay for all this on his own. You pay a little bit to get some coffee, and he gets a little bit to get this podcast going still, or maintaining. Whatever. Just buy the coffee. It's delicious. I made it.
Do it.
Roasted to order.
Roasted to order, baby. It's pretty much roasted the day before I send it. So you're getting like the best of the best. It literally does not get better than that.
Absolutely.
Do it. Superliminal. Buy that coffee. Tiny URL / whatever it is.
We are on point.
Say it again, and then you can wrap up.
Legends of tabletop.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. Could just be Legends of Tabletop.
Oh, it's all that. Oh, I can change that. I can fix that. I didn't realize the slug was that. Did that anyway? I'll fix it.
A new link coming soon.
Coming soon. No dashes. God damn it! I didn't realize that.
Or all dashes.
Order L dash. Anyway,
oh wow!
Off track again.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.